Hey everyone, I want to welcome you to Hutcast. Hutcast is a pragmatic approach to several things that happen in life and happen around us. So tune in, check us out. If you like us, give us a thumbs up to Hutcast. Now a word from our sponsors. Today's sponsor in part by Excel Roofing. Excel Roofing, they do it all. Roofs, siding, framing. You need a house? Give Excel a call. I've used these guys personally in the past, have a professional crew. They're conscious of your job, and they want to produce the finest quality of craftsmanship available. Excel Roofing, 763-712-0757. Again, 763-712-0757. Excel Roofing, Dayton, Minnesota. Welcome to Hutcast. Hutcast tonight is going to have a special guest, Charlie Stemig. He is a local comedian in the Twin Cities, and he wants to get out and say the word to everybody. Charlie Stemig is in the studio tonight. Charlie, I hope you have some good material tonight.
A little bit of pressure, huh? I did get in some traffic on the way over here, and I have some things I have to say about the drivers, but hey, I think that's something we all can agree on.
Stay tuned. Hutcast will continue after these messages. For home and workplace comfort, we here at Dependable Heating and Air Conditioning have over 30 years of residential and commercial experience in replacing, repairing, and doing general maintenance on your heating and cooling equipment. Call the experts at Dependable Heating and Air Conditioning. For all your indoor comfort needs, we are located in Coon Rapids and serve the entire Twin Cities area. Call one of our professional technicians today at 763-757-5040. That's Dependable Heating and Cooling. Again, 763-757-5040, Dependable Heating and Air. You are back with Hutcast and Charlie Stemig. Charlie's in the studio, and he is a budding comedian. Mm-hmm. So, Charlie, introduce yourself to the folks out at Hutcast World.
Hey, guys. Yeah, my name's Charlie Stemig. I'm a stand-up comedian here in the Twin Cities. I've been doing it for a while now. Really enjoy it. I know that 2020 has been kind of a weird year for everybody. Hopefully 2021 will change things, but yeah, definitely. I love getting out there, meeting different people, performing different shows, producing different shows, traveling all around the Midwest is definitely a perk of being a stand-up comedian. I really enjoy it, and hopefully the future looks bright as of right now, and hopefully be able to get back on the road and hopefully get some people laughing again.
Charlie, what is your biggest venue in the Twin Cities area? What's your biggest show? I mean, there's a lot of places you play, but what's the big daddy for you?
It's one of the things of some of the major clubs in the Twin Cities, which would be like Acme, downtown Minneapolis, the House of Comedy at the Mall of America. I've done some small events there, nothing super crazy, or hopefully in this coming year I'll be able to feature for some of the national headliners that come in. We'll see where that goes. But at the end of the day, is my favorite thing is to do comedy where there's not normally comedy, if that makes sense. There's a lot of small towns around the United States that, and just even in Minnesota that, they don't even have a Walmart yet. They don't even have, a movie theater to go to. So like when you go and do those shows, that really is what I enjoy the most out of it, because I feel like I get the most out of the shows from the people, because, they don't really have any options other than that. Big venue, I've done shows for 5 people. I've done shows for 500 people, and, both have their ups and downs. But, if I could get myself into the House of Comedy and be an established name there, I think that would be my goal as of right now. House of Comedy and Mall of America.
Awesome. And do you do any of the casinos?
The last casino that I performed at was Danbury Casino out in Wisconsin. I opened for Larry Reed. It was a really, really good time. It was it was an eye-opening experience. Larry Reed, he's or your Uncle Lair is what he likes to go by. He was on the Rodney Dangerfield show, and me and him got to have dinner after the show, and that was super fun because he looked at me, and he's much older than I am, and he said, I don't even know how to like mimic his like Chicago accent. He looked at me and he goes, I don't know how you're going to do it, kid. Like he just referred to me like some 80s movie. And he's like, I don't know how you're going to make it as a comedian. I said, oh, that's super reassuring. Thanks. Why? And he goes, well, back when I started out, there was 7 comedy clubs in the US. And I was like, yeah, it's gonna be challenging as things go on, but at the same time, to be able to just sit down with a legend like that and just have him yell at you was kind of interesting. But no, it was a really good time. But yeah. I've also had the luxury of hanging out with Nick Swartzen a few different times at local open mics and events and stuff like that. But yeah, famous people are just like you and me. They just a lot more people know who they are when they walk through the hallways.
Right. Well, is in the studio world, we got to hang around a lot of high profile people, and you know what? They're as twisted as we are, if not more.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, do people know you do this?
It's actually one of the things. It's weird because people get comedians mixed up with clowns all the time. Okay. Like as I go to a party or a friend's event or whatever it may be, and they'll be like, "Oh, Charlie, you're a comedian." I'm like, "No, garbage man." People mix it up because every time somebody finds out you're a comedian, they want you to do a joke, and it's like, dude, I don't walk around with balloon animals in my pocket ready to go. It's like asking somebody to, "Hey, man, I heard you play guitar. Can you play me a song?" Well, I just bring my guitar. It's one of those things, and hey, it is what it is, though.
Well, it's you never go to a party and see you work on cars either.
Yes, terrible idea.
Yep, no, it just does not happen. And if you do that, sucker.
Yep. No, I work for NASA, so they don't ask any questions.
I always give them, I'm a balloon salesman. And they look at you like, what? Yeah, we got a balloon salesman. Not the Trojan kind, but the balloon salesman kind. So, interesting people. You played some casinos. I've been at that Hinckley show. I'm sorry, Danbury, you said.
Yep, Danbury.
So I've been at the Danbury show, and I tell you what, it's a small stage.
Yep, very tiny.
But it's got a great bar attached to it.
Yep.
It has decent seating. Mm-hmm. The buffet is pretty good.
Yep.
But you know what? It's...
And it's all in the same room.
It is. It's just right there. So, I mean, the guy who's drunk throwing up is the guy next to you, making jokes about it. Oh, look at this guy. And there you are.
Love it, baby.
So when you played that Danbury, how many people in the room?
Danbury is a weird room. I don't know how it's changed, but it was like an early show. When I was there last, I think I had to get there at like 5. And the show was at 7, and it was in the summertime, so it was still light out. Saw me start, and I have a different taste than he does on stage, but it was pretty cool. Got a lot of high fives at the end of the show. Got some people actually took some pictures with us, which was really fun. I think there was maybe 30-40 people in the audience, and that's pretty high for that small room because I've been there before, and there's like 6.
And that's the staff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's counting the workers. Yeah.
So there's one of you.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a great room, and when the sun sets, it comes in on that one side, and you can't see crap. So it's pretty cool. And okay, now in the cities here, mm-hmm. There's 2020 has been a just stupid year. We've got the COVID crew, we've got the George Floyd guys, you've got the you name it. Mm-hmm. Pandemic to democratic. What would you say to the people who should be out and enjoying their life and having a good time, but of course doing it safely? What would you say to those people?
I think one of the issues that I experienced, and one of the things, so I ended up getting furloughed last year. So I was home for a month and a half. And I will be honest with you, I let social media kind of like consume me, like, because the only thing you could do is obviously look at your phone, and then obviously being stuck at home and, just seeing what some of the stuff that was going on. What I would say to the good people that are just trying to get out there and have fun is like, just kind of set that down aside, go out there and smell the flowers once again. Like there's so many people that thinks everything just went so south so fast, which I can imagine. Yeah. But, it's one of those things. Even just the other day, I went for a walk like outside, and it was just so refreshing because, like I said, the last year, really a lot of time was just spent at my house. And getting back out to doing some of the open mics in the Twin Cities, getting downtown again. Definitely downtown has changed a little bit in my eyes about how I feel about going down there. But at the same time, just getting out to the mic, seeing other comics, seeing other people out, just trying to have fun and, trying to put all the differences aside at a comedy show. I think it's really important because, that's one of the things I think everybody really needs is just to loosen up and have a little bit more fun because of how serious everything was last year.
Yeah, it was pretty serious. Mm-hmm. It's still pretty serious.
Oh, yeah.
And right now we got some people in office that are doing the complete opposite of the last 4 years. Mm-hmm. And you just look at these guys and go, dude, really? Look at our border crisis. And these people just want to have a life. I mean, they're done with life wherever they come from, and they want to be part of ours. Mm-hmm. But there's proper ways to do that. Just like getting out with your walk and take the dog or whatever you want for your walk and getting to know your neighbor. Mm-hmm. Whether you're a Reb or a Dem, it really doesn't matter because, comedy breaks that line. Mm-hmm. There's no partisan when there's comedy.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So do you have any politics in your show?
Unfortunately, no. I have some friends that really go down that avenue. And honestly, I'm not good enough to do it. If I'm going to be completely honest, I have tried to do humor, I've tried to do political humor and stuff like that. Uh-huh. I have failed very hard. Unfortunately, how do you want to say this in a non-negative way? Being somebody that's not from the inner city, being from what I would consider the outer ring, sometimes, people think you already kind of have an automatic thought process or way you think or feel or treat people. And so like when you get that and you bring that on stage and people are like, oh man, this guy's just going to be totally one way about things. And then you say the other, I don't know. I would say for me, the ingredients aren't there. I don't follow it enough to have good points. I think would be a good way to say it. And at the same time, put a funny twist on it. If I'm going to go up there and talk about politics, most of the time I look dumb. Well, because like I said, there's some guys that out there, there's comics in the Twin Cities that kill it. They can make light of any dark subject that has to be on the news or anything like that. And they can put such a funny twist on it. And then you get somebody like me where a lot of my stories are very exaggerated and made up. And now I'm going to be the guy who's going to try to speak a little bit of truth. No, don't work.
Right. So what is your genre of comedy?
Me, it's one of those things that's very blue collar. It is probably nothing that me and you wouldn't discuss. Like if you're going out with your buddies and having a few drinks, it ain't nothing above and beyond what you're going to talk about at the bar. So I like to call it kind of bar humor. It is got to be a little bit of open-minded. I don't do anything raunchy or anything like that. I'm not going to make. So
no Dice Clay, right?
No, yeah, that'd be cool too. But again, that's a very talented comedian right there. I wish I could do what he does, but yeah, see, I would just get yelled at for doing material like that.
Or shot,
yeah. Or now what they say, cancel culture. I would be canceled.
Oh, I did a show on cancel culture once.
I did see that. I did.
That's crazy. We can't have cancel culture because we got to be open minded.
That's the thought.
And if you're good until you offend somebody, then you want to be canceled.
Yeah, I actually offended somebody the other day. It was really weird how I offended him, and I got actually kind of I wouldn't say upset. I would say that I was like, really? Come on, man.
Did he need a hug? Safe space?
You want to hear the story real quick?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm part of this. I don't want to give it away without giving it away. I'm part of this group that we do a lot of professional talking to and networking, so to speak. Uh-huh. And we were on this email chain, and one of the guys in the group was talking about how he has like a friend that makes pottery cups or something. Like his friend does pottery and makes whatever. So I found a gift from Dirty Dancing. And I posted that in there, as, hey, this is hilarious. This is the scene, where they're making the thing.
Yeah, together, rubbed it close to close, and they're all, okay.
And somebody totally derailed it. Like, what the heck are you putting that on there for? This is so unprofessional. I'm offended. I'm like, you don't like Dirty Dancing? Is that what your problem is?
Did you say, I'm offended that you're offended? Now what do we do?
Yeah. What are we going to do now? It's like looking in the mirror. But yeah, no, it's just one of those things is with the comedy stuff is it's crazy how easily some people can be offended just because they don't know or understand or misinterpreted what people are saying. Like I literally looked in the little thingy on the side of my email and typed in clay making, and that was the first thing that popped up, and I had no intentions to offend anybody. But even when you talk about going on stage right now, I've had some friends like as things started to open back up here in the Twin Cities go on stage and say some stuff, and just people got angry. And it's like, dude, we're all here to have fun, but it's just crazy how fast people can get set off these days.
Well, they trigger.
Yeah, triggered.
And if they trigger by what you say, they're the problem.
Oh, yeah. Just
plain and simple. Yeah. You're there to make a show, right? You're there to have fun, and you're there to give them some fun. And if there's one out of 50, 100, 200, whatever your venue is, that gets upset, you know what I say? Too bad.
Right.
Because you know what? There's the door. Don't spend any money here again. The rest of us are laughing. We're having a good time. And if you ever remember way back when Eddie Murphy was talking to
Wasn't born yet, but yeah.
Okay. So Eddie Murphy was talking to Bill Cosby.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill Cosby calls up Eddie Murphy and says, "You're filth and you're terrible and you're this and you're that and you're this." And Eddie Murphy calls his buddy up, and I don't remember who it was, and he says, "Eddie Murphy, this is Eddie Murphy. I got something to say. This guy's all mad at me. Bill's mad at me." And it was Richard Pryor.
Yep, Richard Pryor. This is in his Raw act. He talks about this.
Yes, he did talk about that. And he says, have a Coke and a smile and shut the F up. So, you know what? They're there to see you.
Mm-hmm.
And you sound like a very intelligent person. And you can put some wit in this. And you know what? The smart people will get it, and the funny people will laugh at it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm okay with it. But, of course, we kind of keep it G-rated on the show because we got such a big following.
Mm-hmm.
And we want everybody out there to see this, to hear you.
Mm-hmm.
What else can you say to these people at some venues in town, or what's your next booking?
So as of right now, I have a few things in the work, nothing set in stone, because like I said, everything's just starting to open up. For instance, First Avenue has actually just announced their first concert. They haven't been open in almost a year, and that's kind of how it's been for me right now. I don't have anything set in stone. Hopefully there's a few talent agencies that I was working with in 2019 before this all hit. I got a few different phone calls for, hey, is your dates available? But nothing set in stone at this point. For anybody that wants to follow the social media and stuff, that's the best way to figure out what next show is available, because not only do I perform, I also produce shows for a lot of local venues, bars, breweries, event centers and such. And that to me right now is really what I'm working on. Actually, this last week, I've been consistently on the phone with bars around the area, breweries that I've worked with in the past, event centers. There's one actually in White Bear Lake that I had a very, very strong relationship with, and we were just about to get everything rocking and rolling, and all of a sudden the pandemic hit, and that would have been a super sweet show. So right now, everything's kind of up in the air. Last thing I want to do is like what happened last year. I was actually booked on 5 different shows, huge, great shows. Some were in Andover, some were downtown Minneapolis. Mm-hmm. And I hyped these shows up. I was super stoked for them. And then all of a sudden, COVID-19 came through and they all got canceled. People had to get money back for some of their shows. So that's one of the things right now, me and a lot of the other comics right now, it's hard to say when our next show is, because we can give you a date and we can give you a time.
Yeah, but what'll happen?
Yeah, who knows how tomorrow's going to be? We can find out something crazy happened and all the vaccines don't work, and now we're back to square one.
We shouldn't call it a pandemic. We should call it a damn pemic.
Yeah.
Hey, we use that all week. Be sure to tip your waiter. Look at, I'm trying to be the comedian here. Is it working?
Sure.
Well, sure it is. Okay, so we are at about 17 minutes into our roll. And you've covered everything. How do people get a hold of you if they want to book you?
The best way is to either send me an email, which is just simply charliestemig@gmail.com. Follow me on social media, which would be, if you just type in Charlie Stemig in Facebook, if you even just Google it, it brings me to a lot of my contact information. Or like I said, all you got to do is shoot me an email and I can get in contact with anybody that wants to put me on a show or have me produce a show for them. Really no mileage is the limit for me. I've helped book shows as far as the Iron Range. I've done shows in Wisconsin all the way to Nebraska. But at the same time, it really boils down to what you want and what you're looking for. If I can't be that comic for you, I can definitely get comics for you.
We know a guy.
I know a guy. Know a lot of guys. And girls and women.
He knows the guy who knows the guy. He robbed the guy once.
Yep. Who shook Abraham Lincoln's hand once.
Just once. Okay. Yeah, that's some great content. Well, I'll tell you. So we do a car show, and it's we have a mic, we got a full PA system, we have fun, and now I'm staring at you in the studio here. I'm looking at you and saying, well, maybe we should do a show at the car show. Of course, car show can't pay crap, so you're doing a freebie.
Let me check my calendar. Yeah. No, that's actually, you know what? With my career and especially the way things are, you can't really, beggars can't be choosers right now. I have a lot of friends that right now with performing, they're like, oh man, if there's no money involved, I'm not going. I'm like, how can you say that right now? Like, I'm not going to go to Iowa for any reason at all, but I am definitely not going to Iowa for crowds and people who laugh. It also works as a networking. I've actually gotten more bookings from a show wow. versus, the social media platform of like, hey, I'm not trying to put up hire me posters, but I've definitely got off a stage at one place and then an owner of another place says, hey, I love you and this is what I want and can you do it? And they give
our show that we are still planning. This year we have some corporate sponsorship. Ooh. And you're in the car business, so you understand where I understand. And Chevrolet Performance Division is giving away a 450 horse LS motor for the grand prize this year.
Wow.
And I'm thinking to myself, hey, we should probably get Charlie out. But it was pretty on cue for the show. And we're going to go for Dayton.
Yeah, I would definitely like to be a part of it. And anything I can do to help make it bigger and better is always a plus. Whatever makes me look better, don't care.
Well, I got 6,000 watt PA. Will that work?
You got a light too? I got lights.
I don't have any lights, but I got a twin 15 subwoofer.
Good enough.
So you'll be able to rumble the cars just by going. There
you go.
Charlie, what did I not get in this conversation? Is there anything I got to tell everybody, the people out there? We already know how to get a hold of you. Mm-hmm. We know what your social media. We know what your genre is.
Yeah.
What can we tell the good folks of Hutcast?
It's one of those things is that I'm always down to make sure everybody has a good time. I work with so many comics in the Twin Cities that take everything just a little too much. They stress out a little bit about shows. And my goal in my comedy career is to allow the comics to have fun, the venues owners and the people to have fun so that we can do it again. That has always been kind of my biggest thing is, how are we going to do this again? I've run some shows for some breweries over the years where, hey, I do 2 shows for them a month. And that's really one of the things that I like to get out there is that, don't be scared of comedy. I think that's one of the biggest things that some people you Google stand-up comedy and on YouTube and you just get the dirtiest thing imaginable. I see that a lot.
Yeah.
And it's not like that. I actually have a lot of friends and comedians that are, they're part of that older generation. I how do you want to say this without something really mean? You guys know who you are, and I love you if you hear this. But yeah, I did a show with a bunch of old timers, and they killed it. It was great. We produced the show that way. These comics have been around since the 70s and 80s. Some really gray hair dudes coming up on stage, but they brought kind of a nostalgic feel to the show. They did classy jokes, something that, my generation and younger probably wouldn't really get or understand. But, it was really cool. So like I said, I'm there to make sure we can come back again. If whatever show needs to be tailored to your event, that's what I really like to do as well. I have different forms of performance. I prefer to be uncuffed. Let me go. Give me that mic. Let me say what I got to say. Or if you need me to be your Disney princess, I can do that too. It's not as funny, but
that's extra, right?
Yeah, that's more money.
Well, outstanding. Quick question. Mm-hmm. What is your rating? What is your PG rating? Do you do R? Do you do PG-13? What do you have out there? What do you tell people?
Sure. So, my background, blue collar, been in the auto industry for a long time. Been everywhere from a dealership to a salvage yard, and I've hung out with a very unique group of people. So I got a little bit of a potty mouth sometimes. I definitely have changed over the years. When I first started, it was the F-bomb every other sentence. It was disgusting. I've grown way past that ever since. I got yelled at a couple times from venues, but whatever. You live and you learn. Now I've definitely matured. Definitely got a lot more involved with my comedy career right now. I recently, actually going on 2 years being married and, owning a home and growing up. And so a lot of my material right now is basically what's going on with my life. I do talk a lot about working in an auto shop and working in the auto industry.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories there.
Yep. And I basically talk about how much I hate stupid people. Like, I don't know how you can't relate to that.
Dude, I smell what you're stepping in.
Yeah. I stepped in it all day on the way over here. And like I said, it blows my mind how dumb people are. And they don't know it. Hell no, they don't know it.
They think they're smartest things in sliced bread. And you look at them and go, where'd you fall off and hit your head?
Yep. One of my favorite stories, I'll just give you a little bit. I tell this one on stage, so it's a little bit different when I tell you in person versus how I would do it on stage. But anyways, one of my favorite stories of working in the auto shop is I had this guy call me one day, and he said, "Hey man, every time I stop, my car sounds like rain." And I was like, "Okay." I don't even know how to respond to that. Like, I paused and froze on the phone, and I was like, "All right, just bring it in." And sure enough, the dude brought his truck in, and it was like an older Chevy Avalanche. And sure enough, every time he stopped, it sounded like that musical instrument, the rain stick.
From Australia.
Yep.
Okay.
Got it into the shop, and we found out that his running boards were full of acorns. And obviously when they stopped, they all rolled forward. When he accelerated, they all rolled back. And I'm surprised that he took them out. I thought you'd just keep it like that. Why not?
Oh, dude, you have to. You have to just do that run around.
We ended up filling up like a 5-gallon bucket of acorns.
Nice.
And what ticked me off is the dude didn't even take the acorns when he left. I was like, dude, what the heck am I going to do with these things? So I ended up having a bucket of acorns for a long time.
So every time you stopped and took off, there was a tribe of Aborigines going over there hanging out?
I think about it every time I stop. Like, I just want to get hollow running board just so I could do that and then act like it's normal. So when I'm driving like my wife or friends around, they're like, what is that? I'm like, oh, I don't even know what you're talking about. What do you mean? What is that?
That is the Outback Aborigine. It is here to show you the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a similar one, and he said it sounded like rain. But it wasn't some guy. It was me.
Oh.
And it was my wife's Jeep. And the T-tops are hollow, right?
Sure.
So you take off and you hear this rain. And you stop and you hear this rain. Oh, God, I tell you what. Those things we must have put in about 20 different tops, and Chrysler says, "Oh, we guess we got a problem. We're going to have to fix this." But the same thing happened. No acorns, but you stopped, you got wet because it's right above your head, and it did sound like rain. And all I could think of exactly is they were Aborigines. So, dude, I get it. I mean, we could tell stories about cars day in, day out. Mm-hmm. But a friend of mine made a meme, and he listens to the show.
Sure.
And he says, with me on the meme and the eyebrow up like a Spock, right?
Sure.
He says, there are no stupid people. There's just less smart ones.
That is more true. I should get that tattooed on my arm. That is so damn true.
And because we have this standing joke about cold. There's no absolute cold, but there's a lack of heat, and it's an actual real thing. It's a part of the Peltier effect. But you just kind of you had to kind of pump the brakes and go, that's funny, dude. That's stupid funny. There's no stupid people. They're just less smarter ones. Mm-hmm. Oh God, I'll tell you what. So we had fun with that, and again in the car business, dude, I get it. There's things every day you're like, huh. Some things that make you go, huh.
Mm-hmm.
So we got you wired 6 ways from Sunday. You are at 27 minutes. You're doing great. We've covered all the bases, where you're doing, what you're having, what's coming up. If you want to have your buddies, your group, networking group, come to the car show. Hey, I'll shout the music out, and you guys can go for the role.
Sweet.
So again, Dayton's not too far away from where we are. So, but if you so desire, we'll make that happen this year, and we'll announce it, we'll promote it, and then of course you can promote your comedy shows and have people come to that.
Heck yeah.
Okay, Charlie, anything else you want to add to the people?
You know what? I want to thank you again for inviting me. It's actually, an exciting moment. It's kind of fun to be able to get out and about and do something I haven't done in a while. You know, I can definitely say I was on a couple different podcasts before, but this one, I like this. Is you got a good setup. It's very comfortable. I didn't really even know too much what we were going to talk about, but this last half hour went by real quick.
Dude, it just flew.
Mm-hmm.
It flew, and you sound really good on mic. You nailed it. So you got this.
It's like I talking to microphones once in a while.
I talk to Mike. Okay, for Hutcast, Charlie is going to take a break, and if you do want to come out and see us, by all means, check us out, look us up, and Hutcast will be right back. And that's a wrap for Hutcast. Hutcast is, again, a pragmatic approach to seeing things how some people see them. If you like our show, give us a thumbs up on the Facebook site. Again, for Hutcast, thank you again. Have a wonderful evening.